shake, rattle, and troll.
It's time for the award-winning Shake, Rattle, and Troll.
Yeah, kids do everybody. Grab your favorite poems. Me and the boys gonna shake.
A show for the serious fishermen as well as the novice looking for tips from the pros.
Yeah, we got the power, we got the speed. We're running wide open on a midsummer breeze. Freshwater, saltwater, watch out, boys. Bass Daddy Don's gonna make some noise. It's me and the boys gonna shake, rattle, and
Now, here's your host, saltwater fisherman, the man that fears no fish, Bass Daddy and tournament pro, Don McDowell.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm Don McDowell. Welcome to Shake, Rattle, and Troll this morning. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening in-house with us. As always, I was going to introduce you as the voice of moderation and reason.
Why would we stop?
But I think common sense is totally out the window today.
Nah.
Also, the chief paperboy from Western Outdoor Times, Arizona Boating and Water Sports, Jim Allen.
Good morning.
Jim, what's happening in your world?
Well, we're just we got the October issue out and got a great article in there from the Voice of Reason over there.
Oh boy.
We're looking forward to
no common sense today.
well,
All right,
I'm looking forward to this.
JK, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Okay. If we recall back, there has been a number of times where there have been articles written and documentaries done on the Wild Horse and Burro Act. And a friend of ours was over in Germany this year. And during that visit, he found that the German people do, in fact, consume horse meat. And it's expensive, $25 a pound for the prime steaks.
Is this where we talk about the Chinese importing 5,500 metric tons and more?
A year?
Okay.
For consumption, yes. So the friend was kind enough to bring me back a tin of Fleisch, which is, of course, German for horse meat. And little known to me, the Arizona Republic had a reporter, Brandon Loomis, who has been doing articles on some of the endangered species, but specifically he's been doing a lot of work on the Wild Horse and Burro Act. And we had a conversation. I said something about eating horse meat, and voila, they are here today to watch all of us consume this tin of horse meat, or at least to start on it. I have no idea what it tastes like. I've talked to people who have had it in the past. They say it is quite good. Protein-wise, it's better than beef. Calorie-wise, it's better than beef. So, are you ready?
I'm following your lead today.
Oh, good. Here we go.
I deliberately did not go to Dunkin' Donuts this morning.
Okay, it looks an awful lot like Spam. So, we're going to leave it at that. I'm going to put it in here.
And what's the name of this? It's not called pony pate. What is it?
No, it's Fleisch, which means horse meat, I think, in German.
Cool.
So, you've got your plastic fork. I've got mine. Oh, it's really tough. There it goes. Now I bought crackers, and I bought provolone.
Nice.
And you've got your coffee.
And wine.
It's pretty good. It tastes like meatloaf. Seriously.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I've had meatloaf that tastes like that. Let's put it that way. Taste it. Want some, Jim?
Yeah, I'll try a piece.
All right.
I've actually eaten in Mexico.
And probably at Jack in the Box. Remember about 12, 15 years ago, they got popped by USDA.
Yes.
Come on over.
FDA.
Obviously,
yeah.
this has been treated. It's salty, but it tastes a lot like a meatloaf that I make.
I'll find nothing wrong with that.
No, it's good. What do you think? I don't know
Good.
what they do to prep it in Germany, but I like it.
That's pretty tasty. Actually. Seriously.
Yeah.
And?
I like it. Where can we order more, right? No, I'm not importing it for Germany at that
$25 a
price.
pound.
Yeah, no, So this tin in Germany is $15. So, I mean, that's amazing to me. It's just like a can of tuna for those who are listening and can't see it. But I find it fascinating. It appears to obviously have been marinated for quite some time the way they pack it, just like they pack tuna. Tuna breaks down. But it's really quite good. All of this about an animal that we have here in Arizona that nobody can touch, even though it's packed with protein and it's good for you. I guess that's the logic that I'm having a hard time with is that I understand loving an animal. I love elk. I consume elk. I understand loving a horse. I've had horses. I love them. I mean, they're magnificent animals. But to the exclusion of all other species is where I start to become very concerned with the radicalism that I see with a lot of the horse lovers. Dig in, Di. It's good.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So, it does taste to me like a really good meatloaf, a hard meatloaf. I've made elk meatloaf in the past from some of the elk we've gotten. It's much more condensed meat. It's a leaner meat. There's not the fat that you get in beef. If you make a meatloaf out of beef,
Sure.
you have a lot more fat.
Well, there's definitely a transition from species to species. This is less grainy, higher protein than beef. Buffalo is the same thing.
Yeah, buffalo.
And then in talking with those guys in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, that have the northern yaks, they're much better than the buffalo. So,
well, I'll tell you what. If I had to have that as my last meal, it's pretty darn good.
well, there's two sides to this thing, and more people in the middle that don't understand it one way or another. From where I'm coming at, we're looking at non-indigenous species that's running wild, trash, and habitat. We've got a $5 billion issue because BLM has failed in their management ability, both on the burro and the wild horses. And I totally get it. I've been a horse owner for, 2 decades.
Yeah.
And, who doesn't like horses? Everybody likes horses. That's not
They're
the point.
beautiful.
We've got over 50,000 head of burros and horses being boarded.
44. Okay, let's round it down so we're not accused of
I'm not going to do that because BLM has lied. They put a price of $40,000 a head to house these things, to board them manually. Okay. They're not telling you the other administrative costs that go along with that. If you have a horse or a burro adopted, you have a BLM representative driving an F-250.
Comes by and makes
fully
sure
loaded,
that you still have it.
4-wheel drive, that's probably making $80,000 a year, to come check on that burro to make sure you don't do anything with it. Listen, when I was 14, my stepdad adopted me. Nobody came around to check on my welfare.
Yeah.
We had 2 burros that we adopted from Wyndon on their Adopt a Donkey program. Twice a year, here came the BLM guy checking on those donkeys. Burros, if you will. Okay? Anybody come check on my welfare? No. And I'm just going to rest my case. So,
All right,
you
let's
take that,
take
rounded up, add 10 on it, times, 50.
You're looking
50
at
grand times 50,000. We've got a hell of an issue. Let's put it this way. Jim and I were talking about it last night. We've got deficits on children, education, veterans, homeless veterans, and all these other issues. Let's take $2 billion away from BLM, deal with the horses, and deal with some other social issues we have. I'm done.
I'm having breakfast.
And you're doing a fine job. So anyway, that's my.
Let's take a look at it
$2
realistically, though. We know we have an $80 million budget for the Wild Horse and Burro Act. That should encompass everything. $80 million a year. For perpetuity.
John,
it's not going to get cheaper.
They're a perfect example of a failed bureaucracy. There's no accountability with these guys. Look at the burro problem that we had.
We still have. In Arizona, we have a huge burro problem.
We did. What was it, 2.5 months ago, you and I are here on Sunday morning talking about burro issues and this and that and the other thing. A guy's going from Tucson on his way to Wilcox.
Oh, yeah.
Comes around the corner, 65 miles an hour, runs into 4 horses. He dies, killed 3 horses. The 4th one wanders up the road, dies in the road, and another motorist hit it. We've lost people up here by on Mox and New River, and it's just,
it's a shame that they
can't manage them.
No. And they're expanding their range.
Needs to step in and deal with it. You get outside the boundary, game's over. So.
If you look at this thing content-wise, it is a brilliant red meat. I mean, that's deep red.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. I'm impressed with the way they handled it, what they did with it.
All righty. That said, we're going to flip into a break when we come back. Did you bring Rolaids?
No, don't need
Okay, I
it.
got Rolaids in the truck. I'm Don McDowell with,
Jim Allen.
and
Special K.
you indeed are special today. We'll be right back.
The preacher man says it's the end of time, and the Mississippi River, she's a going dry.
All righty, we're back. We're back with breaking news. Yep. H&M Landing, San Diego. The yellowfin are jumping in the boat. Yesterday, 192 yellowfin were boated, 191 yellowtail, and we'll follow that up as soon as we finish this educational
Seminar.
segment. A seminar.
JK's breakfast.
Wow.
Hey, somebody has to eat breakfast. You know, usually I do it after the show, but this time I'm doing it during the show. And yes, I am consuming horse flesh. It's packaged. It comes from Germany. It's legal. It's okay, folks. You don't have to come down here and storm the Bastilian here.
Yeah, you'll see Kelly Townsend Monday morning.
Oh, I'm sure I'll hear about it Monday.
Oh, yeah.
But everything I'm eating on here, it tastes good, and it's a nutritionist food. And that's the part of the problem we have to come to deal with sooner or later. Because a herd size will double every 4 years left unattended, sooner or later you run out of space. And it's taken us a long time in the West to get to the point. I've seen too many videos of starving horses. I've seen too many videos of horses that have died from starvation or lack of water. There has to be a management. They're an animal. They're not a human. And we're giving them human characteristics, or at least some people are.
A name.
Mm-hmm. I know that the horses out at the Salt River Recreation Area, they have pet names for those horses. That's very nice. It's very fun. And if it gets people out into wildlife, that's fabulous. The point is that you cannot be exclusionary to a single species at the risk of all the other species. And that's the issue that we're facing right now.
Well, it is. It's a huge disconnect emotionally. You know, we're looking at, I haven't fact checked it, but I've heard 70% of horse owners are women.
They are.
You know, so you've
I've
got
seen that
a
before, too.
huge emotional attachment to it, and I get it. You know, we had 4 horses for 20 years, and some huge vet bills.
Well, the only broken bones that I've had have come from horses, but it wasn't their fault. That was mine, and that's just you're dealing with an animal that weighs 1,200 pounds. And its brain's half the size or a third the size of yours is. You better take good care of that animal because they are. I mean, if you've ever been cow-kicked by a horse, you know what happens. I mean, that leaves a mark. There's no question there. Or if you've been bit by one, you don't interfere with them when they're eating, period, end of story. You have to know the animal. And unfortunately, we've got way too many of them right now with the problem that is creeping up to I ran the numbers for the last 5 years, and it's also almost $500 million for the Wild Horse and Burro Act's funding through federal tax paying. And it's getting to the point where it's going to be out of control. And what do you do? I'm not about to tell India that they have to eat cows. And I'm not about to tell Vietnam that they can't eat dog or cat or whatever else they eat. We have our issues here. On a social moray basis, everybody's reluctant to consume horses because it's an identifier. It's a social buildup that we've had. There's also a large degree of the Disney-itis, the anthropomorphism of horses. You're giving them human characteristics when they're really not there. They're an animal. They're a wonderful, magnificent animal, but I consider elk, deer, desert bighorn, sheep, antelope, and horses all in the same category. They're all foraged, they're all ungulates, and they all serve a purpose. Unfortunately, the horses are the only species that are not being removed from the landscape on a regular basis. They're not being culled, and that's an issue that we have to take a look at, honestly.
Both. The burro's right there with them.
Well, with wild horse and burro, yes.
Well, the other side of this is becoming a left-wing ideology that we're fighting across the country, especially at the federal fault line.
Mississippi.
Yeah. You take about east side of New Mexico. Look, it's really clear. the left wing wants us off the landscape. We've got the Sierra Club. We've got the Guardians of the Earth. We've got this guy, Center for Biological Diversity. They want us off. The sage grouse is another issue right there. That's 167 million of restricted acres in 11 states.
That's the potential for being removed. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a huge source of concern. I think that the state, given if the state of Arizona could manage the wildlife, you look at from say Lake Pleasant through Kingman.
Yep.
That documentation we have says there's over 6,000 wild burros out there, and they are consuming a massive amount of food and water. And we all know that water is the huge issue here in Arizona.
It is.
How many tanks have I worked on? Those. The storage tanks with the aprons and 4 2,500-gallon tanks. It used to be 2 5,000-gallon tanks, and then the walk-in trough. I mean, we pay $45,000 for each one of those puppies to be built when we're helping on them. We go out, we actually get on the ground with the development crew from Game and Fish, and every single one of those things is a massive undertaking. It's a 5-year process to get it in place, but then there's water there that's going to be there for another 50 years.
I don't know what the number was this year. Last year was 72 Game and Fish waterhole projects.
Yeah.
Can I throw something in here?
Mm-hmm.
I've watched this for several years with you guys, and I probably fell into the emotional side of it as much as anything. But hanging around with you guys and listening to this, I think I'm not unlike or have not been unlike a lot of the people that are on that emotional side you're talking about. But what they don't understand and don't realize, and I really believe this after the more I watch, that they do not understand that it's guys like you, the hunters and the fishermen, that are actually doing the conservation and taking care of these animals. They may think it's the greatest thing in the world.
Let me be clear. That's an excellent point. If it weren't for hunters, there would be no conservation. That's where it comes from.
There'd be
it's
no
our
wildlife.
dollars going on the landscape, so these other left-wing nuts
And
can
that's
go out
what-
and watch birds.
That's what I'm getting at. The people that are so involved in this emotionally, and that's fine. I understand that, but they need to see realistically where the dollars are coming from, where the labor's working from, where you guys go out there and put in these water tanks, and you take care of these animals, and they're not doing that. They're looking back from afar and saying, well, it ought to be this way in a perfect world, and we don't have a perfect world.
No, we don't.
Well, okay, a good example. My parents are both still alive, okay, my mom and my dad. And my mom's parents raised animals, and they would once a year go out and butcher a pig, which means that they took that pig and they started from scratch. They killed it, and then they slit its throat, and then they did the disemboweling of it. Every aspect of that pig was utilized for consumption. And today's society, we are much more a city, urban communities by far than we are rural. There's a disassociation. When they walk into a Fry's and they walk up and they pick up that, whether it's a T-bone, whether it's ground beef, whether it's anything, they have absolutely no clue of the processing that goes on with that. When we go out and we harvest an elk, there is a massive amount of work once that animal hits the ground, and you owe it to that animal to make sure that you do everything within your power to make sure that you handle it properly and that you consume it properly. It's a violation of game laws if you have waste of meat. And if you try and do something that's wrong with that, you deserve to lose your license for 5 years and be banned in all 39 western states.
42.
Is it 42 now?
Yeah.
42 now. So, I mean, but society is disassociated from the death process.
And I think that's the key thing. I grew up in farm country a long time ago, and this is the way it was. And you respected what, you just had a lot of respect for the animals.
Sure.
But that was how it was done. But I think one of the things, and disassociation is exactly right, but I do recall, and I think it was here with you guys, I don't know, maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago. And as I recall, the discussion was similar to this, and there was a woman that called in and was just madder than hell. And one of the comments she made was, well, why don't you guys just go to the grocery store and buy food like everybody else?
Really?
and leave those poor animals alone. Now you talk about dissociation, and that's not an extreme. There are a lot of people that absolutely do not understand where their food comes from.
Well, as a society, we've evolved to the point of view that now vegetables and plants have feelings.
I'm not going to go there. Don't do that.
I know
Don't
a lot
do
of
that.
Yeah,
turnips.
you know that broccoli you ate last night? How do you think that broccoli felt?
I know a lot of turnips walking around the streets.
But getting back to it, as a society in the future, what's going to happen? And I have some real concerns as to the long-term future because,
You're not going towards Soylent Green, are you?
well, no. But that movie has struck a chord over the years. If people who go back far enough to watch Soylent Green, there's an understanding of the process. And certainly there's a dedication towards moving away from consumptives like us. I think it's a healthy thing to understand nature, to understand where we're coming from and where we're going to go to.
Well said. I appreciate your input today. Thank you, James. We're going to flip into
So you get his
a
title
short
back
break,
now?
and when we come back, we will move on. I'm Don McDowell.
Special K.
Jim Allen.
We'll be back. All righty, we're back. We're going to change gears, get off the horse, and get back on the boat and go to San Diego with Captain Bill from the Mayhem on the Malahini. Good morning, my good captain.
Hey guys, good morning. How things going?
You know, I don't even want to go there. We've got Panama Red over here eating a can of horse meat. So,
Morning, Captain Layback.
Hey, what's up, Mr. KJ?
Same as it always is, my friend. Same as it always is.
Oh, yes, sir.
look at we're seeing some pretty good fish counts. What's going on over there, in your opinion?
The 3-day boats are doing so. 2.5 day, day and a half to 2.5 day boats are doing fine. The overnight boats, they're holding their own. The 3/4 day boats, they're kind of eating dog doo-doo.
Oops.
Well, I mean, it's where they're fishing for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, fishing's good. We fished, actually, I ran the boat yesterday. We were fishing islands. And, I had a bunch of people on the boat that wanted to catch fish. And I don't think they're really, really particular as far as, yellowfin, yellowtail, whatever the case may be. And, we, came back home with, 86, bonito, 7 yellowtail, 35 barracuda, 6 calico bass, and 3 rockfish.
That's a good day on the water.
Yeah, it is.
Dude, they had a blast.
I'm curious. A week or two ago, you were talking about preparing the bonita. What's your secret to that? Other than cutting out the bloodline.
There's several ways you can do it. Obviously, you're going to cut the bloodline out. You can chunk it into small chunks. You can make ceviche out of it. You can make poke out of it, because it's a how would you describe it? The consistency of the fish itself, or the texture of the fish, is similar to a tuna. Basically, well, actually, a bonito is a tuna.
It's certainly
if you
more.
think about it.
Yeah, it's very, very firm.
Put it on the grill. Jerk it. Any way you want to do it with a tuna, you can do it.
Okay.
I mean, it's the same exact thing. It's just a darker meat than a bluefin is.
Okay, would the same theory apply to the skipjack?
Yes, most definitely. As a matter of fact, I'm making. My wife's going to make aku bone tonight.
Okay. What might
She
that?
is-
What?
She's
Hawaiian. What? Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. She goes, "It's
Is this
fried-
a new
it's
dish?"
fried fish.
Yeah.
It's
Mahalo.
just fried fish. I was like, okay. Yeah, I'm going to chop that up for her tonight, and she's going to make that. Have I ever had skipjack tuna? No, because I heard it was nasty.
Yeah, I mean that's the rumor.
You know, I've heard bonito was nasty.
Well, one
I had
of the
bonito.
things we've been kicking around is barracuda. That is good stuff.
Oh, barracuda is.
Man.
I've had that. East Coast.
Yes, it is indeed.
Yeah.
Barracuda
Yes,
in
it
a
is
can.
indeed.
No, barracuda live off the water.
Okay, good man.
Yes, very good. You know, and my take on that myth about the bonito being nasty or the skipjack being nasty. Yeah, if you go out and you catch something at 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning and you put it in your grill and you sit in a bag all day and you go home and it's gonna be mushy. You know what I mean?
Well, we don't do that on the Malahini.
No.
No, sir, we do not.
Nope.
We have an RSW, refrigerated seawater fish hole.
Okay, how many tons is that particular cooler?
It'll hold roughly 150 to 200, about 25 to 30 pound yellowtail.
There you go.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Yeah, as far as
That-
tonnage
that's
and what
a
it is, I
cooler.
couldn't tell you. But
Yeah.
it's cold. The water temp gets down to about 32 degrees. As you add fish, the temperature of the water adjusts. You know, that means that the chiller's, you know, working harder, but I mean, it's designed to do that. And that fish is just as firm when you caught it as when you leave the boat. And it's cold.
Any scuttlebutt about the big bluefin? They still hanging around somewhere?
I have not heard. I heard there was one boat that had one bluefin on Saturday of last week. I heard of a few bluefin being caught on Thursday, but that's it. I think those big bluefin have moved on or just don't want to show their face.
Yeah. All right, well,
You know, I mean-
that's all good news. You guys staying pretty full as far as anglers coming to visit the Malahini?
Yeah, it's been a weird year, you know. The surface game fish action, you know, at the San Diego is the tuna or the yellowtail killer boat, and that's fine. But when the yellowtail go away or the tuna go away, we start carrying 40 and 50 people. We start carrying 13 to 20. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it's like, the Malahini does not carry fishermen. The Malahini carries people who want to go fishing.
Perfect.
Does that make sense?
That's a perfect analogy because
I'm not saying.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying that the anglers we get on our boat are novice or inexperienced. What I'm saying is they come from North Dakota. They come from Tennessee. They come from Texas. They come from Utah on their honeymoon. Yesterday, as a matter of fact. And they have angling experience, but it's lake and river experience. Some of those techniques you can apply to the ocean, yeah, most definitely. But your gear is heavier. You know, your line capacity, instead of using 10 pound, you're using 20 to 60 pounds.
Yep.
And the fight's just a little bit different. You know, once that individual makes that adjustment, I really believe that individual would outfish some of the guys who think they know what they're doing on the ocean.
Well, that's the thing. I can't tell you how many times I've been aboard the Malahini, and whether it's a partial load or an absolutely full load. But let's take a day when we boat 40 yellowtail or yellowfin, we probably hooked up on 100.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
And John, anytime you get in a situation like that, the mayhem on the Malahini is well named because it is total
Exactly.
mayhem. We'll see 6, 8, 12, 14 people hooked up all at the same time.
that's a mess.
Oh yeah.
And, and guys the Malahini gets,
Your boat protocol is beat the person down next to you if they get in your way.
Oh, you're so bad. You're so bad.
well, they call it
no.
full contact fishing for a reason sometimes.
I'm prepped for that.
Hey, it's organized chaos.
Mayhem, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well,
But, I mean,
you guys do it well, but you know what? The point I wanted to make is your safety briefing in the fishing advice in the wheelhouse or in the galley with all the guys on the way out right after the bait receiver. That's good stuff. That's one of the best on of any of the H&M boats I've ever heard. I mean, those guys do it right. And from a fisherman standpoint or an angler standpoint, if you listen to what the guys are telling you and do the best you can to do what they're telling you to do, you're going to have a great day on the water.
Give me, and I mean this, give me 51 people with rental gear any day of the week. We go out, we give a seminar. The first stop is Fubard. After the first stop, things in their head click.
Oh, got it.
To give you an example, Saturday, not this Saturday, but a Saturday, I had 51 people who were straight rent rods from, I think, Las Vegas.
Nice.
First trip was Fubard, or the first stop of the day was Fubard. We had 255 yellowtail from the second stop to the end of the day for those 51 people.
Nice.
Went out the following day with 51 people. 4 of them were rent rods. Everybody else had their own tackle and knew everything.
Absolutely. I know those guys.
We wound up our day with, I think, 14 yellowtail.
Ooh.
The 2 rent rods caught 4 apiece.
Good stuff.
Need I say any more?
No, I think you made your point, Captain. You guys do it right.
Yeah, and it's not like the fish weren't biting. The other 3/4 day boats fished the same place we did, 160, 130 fish.
Well,
I was like, wow.
Yeah, you can rest your case right there. Well, that's good stuff. Listen, we're going to get ready to flip into a break. There's still plenty of time. You can book the Malahini at 619-222-1144 or hmlanding.com. Captain Bill, you have a great day, my friend.
You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you next week.
All righty. Count on it. There you have it. We're going to flip into a break. When we come back, we have no roll call this week. Praise God. We'll be right back.
I don't remember loving you, and I don't recall the things you say you put me through.
You passed me my crayons.
You tell me that you've had.
All right, we're back. Good stuff from Captain Bill. You know, he's absolutely right. I want to move on while we're on the BLM side of life and banging on the government. Yesterday, I got a news release that Arizonans applaud Ann Kirkpatrick for Grand Canyon Monument co-sponsorship. Now, yeah, she's been involved in this with Raul Grijalva since the beginning. They have had a poll out that says more than 80% of Americans support Grand Canyon National Monument proposal and blah, blah, liar, liar, pants on fire.
Well, wait a minute. If you look at that
did you
survey.
See the note I put there?
On
80%.
Yeah. By the way, Jim Allen is weighing in here with figures lie and liars figure.
500 people in the state of Arizona.
Yeah, well, you look
this
at
all brings to mind, you remember Ron White?
Yeah.
Can't fix stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that applies. Yeah, well, I don't know. We elected Obama twice. So, anyway, my point is, we've got Congressman Paul Gosar, Senator John McCain pushing back on Grijalva, and Ann Kirkpatrick needs to go away. We got the elections coming up, and I'm really concerned the way Arizona's going, along with Utah and some of the other western states, on land grabs, restriction. We've got a pretty good working relationship now with Senator Mike Lee from Utah, Orrin Hatch.
Yep.
Another really good guy, kind of like Paul Gosar, is Chris Stewart from Utah.
I didn't know him.
Well, we met him back in D.C. Really an interesting guy. He's a former fighter pilot.
Oh.
And he is, let's just say, he's wired really tight. Pretty dedicated to what he's doing. You know, it's kind of like Matt Salmon.
You sure he's not a sibling of yours?
Yeah, I'm kind of looking into the
mirror. Hey, you're like me.
Yeah, the Trump pool. Anyway, you know, I think the big thing is right now is supporting John McCain and fighting Kirkpatrick. She stands for everything that.
So she has made the jump over to this monument designation totally.
Well, she's out pandering for votes. She's been involved in this since the get-go with
Absolutely.
Grijalva.
Well, yeah, and with the Sierra Club.
And we've got the paper trail with the letter to Obama and so on and so forth. But you know, we're living in pivotal times as outdoorsmen and sportsmen and hunters and anglers and all that kind of thing. We've got to go Republican this year.
Yeah.
One of the things on the Trump train in discussing with those guys, I've been talking with the Utah guys and some of the folks at the Trump campaign. Both Eric Trump and Don Jr. are they're world class. You know, obviously money helps. You can hunt and fish any place you want to, and they do.
Yes, they do.
And they get it. They understand what's happening to the West, and I would challenge anybody to go to your internet, Google federal fault line, and just look at what's happening to the West. We're losing it. You know, years ago there was a great movie out, How the West Was Won.
Yeah, now it's how the West has become a monument.
Yeah, basically how the West was lost, and we need to fight it. The only way we can fight that is getting the right guy in the office of president. Don Jr. is making a bid, by the way, for
Department of the Interior,
Secretary of Interior. They get it.
Yeah, they do. They know.
They get it. In talking with them, you know, we're talking about extreme decline in population in the wolf states of elk, deer, you know, and everything else along with it, turkeys and blah, blah, blah. And Mr. Trump says, well, if the wolves are eating and depredating on the elk and the deer, why don't you just shoot the wolves?
Cattle ranchers would vote him in a heartbeat.
Well, let's just hope everybody's engaged. By the way, I have 2 tickets to Trump in Prescott Valley. You want one?
Yeah.
I'll buy apples for the Prius.
We could take the Prius all the way up.
I can get an extra one, Jim.
It's not the apples for the Prius. It's apples for the gerbils that run the Prius.
Gerbils. That settles everything.
Yeah.
You want to go up and visit with Mr. Trump?
Oh, sure.
When is that?
That's Tuesday. We'd have to leave here probably at 10. He speaks at 2. Probably have to stand in line for
6 hours.
Well, the Prescott Valley.
Do we have to push that Prius uphill?
No, I tell you what, that damn thing runs pretty good.
It flies.
I mean,
it's a cool car.
85 mile an hour uphill.
Yeah.
And downhill.
Yeah. Downhill, all I'm doing is coasting.
Just out of curiosity, what will it do on flat level ground all out?
Oh, the odometer goes over 100. 110, I think it is.
Well, I know, you know, Enterprise.
I haven't tested.
They hate me because, you know, you get into these rental cars and you take it back. They said, everything
That's a
okay?
Rent-A-Racer?
I go, no. Well, something wrong? I go, yeah. The speedometer says go 160 and it will not. I'm just saying.
That's what I said, a Rent-A-Racer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, the invitation stands in that center in Prescott Valley only seats 5,100 people. So
I'm good if you got.
No, I'm real serious. We've got a conversation coming up with Trump Jr., Don Trump Jr.
You're going to have him on the air, aren't you?
Yeah, we're talking about that, but you know, trying to get him on the air or Mr. Trump, it's like trying to get Mason and an elk to stand still at the same time.
Not happening.
Yeah, just a lot of confusion right now.
By the way, give your grandson a lot of credit. I think that boy's primed.
He is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Only thing I have to do is make sure I get the elk to come to him, and we're in fine shape.
You can do that.
Oh yeah.
You can do that. That kicks off Thursday Unit 23, the ADA combined elk and
deer camp.
Deer camp.
Yep, Friday morning.
Are you coming up?
Pardon me?
Are you coming up for that?
You should. You should see all the kids
what
that are.
day
gonna-
is this?
Friday morning starts
Friday-
the hunt. Thursday night we're
Yeah.
going to set up camp, but Friday, Saturday, and Sunday we'll be up there at the Concord Ridge Campground, which is on the road to Young, right where the pavement stops. That's where we'll be.
I'll try to get up, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Tater's
really,
going to be there. Tater's coming up.
The Tater.
Oh yeah, he's a good cook.
Gary Tate. And Scott Corcoran from Southwest Fur Harvesters is bringing some hound dogs up.
Oh, trackers.
Well, he wants to, send out an invitation to accompany him on a coon hunt.
Really?
Yeah, which is just absolute hairball with that guy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Just make sure they don't run down any wolves.
How are you going to know?
Yeah, that's true.
That'd be profiling, wouldn't it?
I'm not going to go there. Nope, I'm not going to say anything about that one. Although I know that's the wolf issue is up for debate at the moment. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, what's happening on White Mountains? We talked to Jim DeVos last Tuesday at the monthly AZSFWC board meeting. He had something to say about maybe another vote coming up or something.
The way he phrased it was that there was an initial vote in which the White Mountain Apache tribe voted not to have wolves on the reservation any longer.
Nice.
But that there may be a reconfiguration of that vote somewhere in the future, and that's up in the air at the moment. But the last I heard was that, according to the official vote that they had taken, that they had voted to remove the wolves from the reservation.
So what happens to the wolves? The server's going to go in and catch them and plant them outside the fence?
I would highly recommend that they do that, because otherwise they're going to be treated just like any other coyote or dog that they have up there that they don't want.
Vermin.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, I think they're going to give them an extended period of time to try and capture the wolves and remove them. But my question is where will they put them in Arizona? Because that is one huge, it's an integral chunk of land that if they have to remove them, they can't put them in the units surrounding the reservation, which would be 23, 3A, 3C, 1, and 27. Well, you've eliminated a whole bunch of the state.
Oh, yeah.
What do you do then? Uh-huh.
Well, they had some fatalities, according to Mr. DeVos, where they lose seven and 9 wolves on the res.
Mm-hmm. They met an untimely lead poisoning.
It happens.
It happens.
Yeah, I think Forrest Gump said that first.
Mm.
It happens.
Yeah. Stuff happens out there, boy.
Yeah. We were talking about the federal fault line. If you draw a line from the bottom of New Mexico right straight up, less than 50% of land is controlled by the state.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and if you go to the east, more than 95% is state-controlled land. I mean, that's the imbalance here.
Oh, yeah. Well, take a
Yeah.
look at, if you look at just Arizona, on the proposal, we've got the Grand Parashant National Monument, which is already encompasses all of the west side north of the river. Then you would have the Grand Canyon National Monument. Then you got the Vermilion Cliffs National Monument. Then you go up to the Bears Ears. I mean, it's a contiguous line of just basically monument designation.
Well, that's
which with severe restrictions on usage.
Well, that's one of the things Grijalva and Kirkpatrick are talking about. Protecting our national treasure from future environmental threats, including uranium mining. Now,
there is no threat for uranium mining.
No, they're too stupid to understand that we're 4 years into a 20-year moratorium on mining up there to begin with. We have 16 years to go.
Yeah.
So I don't know what part of this they're not getting.
I think they don't trust who will be in power 16 years from now, and which is ludicrous, because if anything, we are becoming more protective.
Yep. That said, vote for Trump. I'm Don McDowell with
Special K.
Jim Allen.
We'll be back.
Liar, liar, pants on fire, crooked as as can be. Liar, liar, pants on fire, that's our Hillary. Whitewater and cattle futures, Lincoln sped for rent. FBI files in her home that had her fingerprints. Rose Law Firm billing records went missing for a time, but just until the SOL had run out for the crime. Her plane touched.
All right, it's time to get on the Trump train.
Oh,
right,
dear.
Right there, man.
Oh, Don.
I want to mention a couple more things, and I'm going to get off Kirkpatrick. She stands for everything that's wrong with this country from the Democratic side. She's voted for Obamacare. I mean, that should speak for herself. And she goes on to say that as someone who was born and raised in this state, she understands the importance of the Grand Canyon and what it carries to all of us. It's already
a damn park.
It's already there. All they're doing right now is grabbing land.
Yeah.
They're going to take away the North Kaibab, which is a pristine mule deer herd. It's not replicated anywhere else in the lower 48s.
No.
It's going to hit the deer herd up on the Strip.
Yeah, that's 13A. That's large part of 13A is going to be gone under National Monument designation.
And my point is, she's out pandering for the Latino vote. I don't have a problem with that, but between Regina Romero, Tucson City Councilwoman that's in the same sleeping bag as Grijalva, and Kirkpatrick, and this Rodriguez person, I can't even pronounce her first name, founder of Latinos for Parks.
What?
Yeah.
They want to make the whole state a park, great.
Yeah, basically, they want to turn Arizona into a sanctuary for the crap that's coming across the border, and whatever their agenda is, it's liar, pants on fire, vote Republican. We've got to support McCain. We've got to support Gosar. Friday afternoon, I'll be in Prescott Valley. Actually, Friday evening, to speak to 100. Outdoorsmen that happen to be contractors from the Yavapai County Contractors Association, and I don't have good news to bring to them.
No, you don't.
I have land restriction. We've got $1.9 million in Utah, another 1.7. The Sonoran is $500,000. Do you happen to know off the top of your head what the Sedona Monument is?
No, not that one. And I know that the Oregon Pipe is 380,000 acres, and the Grand Parashant is at least as much.
Yeah, so you start doing the math. Like I was talking earlier, the other side of the fence. There's only two sides to that. We're paying for conservation. Period. Yeah. The other guys don't do anything.
You know what's going to be sad, Don, is if that let's just say that it becomes a national monument, the North Kaibab, it will present so many severe restrictions on any kind of wildlife management or habitat management.
It's out the window, John.
Oh yeah, it will be the next rodeo Chetasky within 10 years. It will burn, and it will burn like you've never seen anything happen before.
You had to bring up the Forest Service, didn't you?
Of course I did.
Want to talk about Salt River Project at the same time?
Nope, I don't want to go there.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, okay.
Essentially what you're saying, can I throw this in here? Essentially what you're saying is that if all of this stuff goes the way they want it to, then all of these lands will be federally managed.
Oh, well, let's put it this way. Federally mismanaged.
Well, that was kind of my point.
Yeah.
I've never seen yet a federal program that was managed properly.
Well, understand, that's why. Because of the fact that they have no ability to manage it, that's why they're putting in exclusionary processes. If people can't go there or they're not allowed on there, then they don't manage it.
It's management by restriction.
Restriction or exclusion.
Well,
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, one's the same as the other. Tonto National Forest, all of the forests are putting out their travel management plans, shutting down roads, and now we've got an issue with a new plan for future development, let's say, in planning for Tonto National Forest. It includes a 600-page document that magically appeared while they had no staff.
Yes.
Okay.
I wonder who created that document.
Well, the FOIA has been filed. We're going to find out. We're going to find out who they've been talking. Here again, they don't want to talk to the sportsmen. No, they called us in and said, "Look, we want your input." Evaporated the staff, So while they didn't have any staff, magically this document appeared. Then they wanted to give us like a week and a half to digest a condensed version of 40 pages representing the 600 pages. And they said at the meeting that they had taken input on wilderness restrictions.
But they never specified who it came from.
No. So we're going to find out who the liar, pants on fire is. I know who it is. And
we all do.
We're going to make that public. Yeah. And, the bad part about it is we've already got wilderness restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the road closures keeping us off the landscape. The only way they're going to be able to do that is more wilderness.
I have a question for you. If we were to go back in time to 1995 and say the roads that were there in 1995 are the legitimate roads you can use today, would that be acceptable to you?
1995? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm totally good with that.
Because there are thousands more miles that have been created since that time.
I understand that, but those got created because they haven't kept up with the times.
Not at all.
And they have a fiduciary responsibility to take care of the things under their watch, which means they don't have any damn enforcement. That's
None.
That's how this happened to begin with.
Do you know that 70% of the income that Forest Service personnel get is every 90 days in the summer when they're fighting fires? That's where their money is gone.
Yeah.
You know that. And who instituted that? It was the mismanagement of our national forests, courtesy of a failed logic of Smokey the Bear.
Yep.
And the fact that they stopped every single fire as soon as it possibly started. And they did not allow for burns to go through naturally.
Well,
That's the killer.
They came up with the travel management plan, knowing full well they didn't have the staff and enforcement. They went to Arizona Game and Fish Department and said, here, will you enforce these rules? Fortunately, the director goes, no.
Not happening.
No, it's not.
Not going to do it.
So, anyway, let me give you some good news. Last week we talked to the owner of Wildlife Artistry in downtown Prescott.
Yes, we did.
They were broken into and lost somewhere between $30,000 and $50,000 worth of horns, heads, hides, and so on and so forth. We got an email from one of our loyal listeners, Randy. Prescott police have arrested two guys.
Surprise.
Put their photographs on the internet. We don't know who it is yet.
We're going to find it.
Yeah, we're going to find out. And that's the good news. The better news is hopefully will be coming that they have recovered.
That's the key. Did they recover all these mounts?
I don't know that, but there was some definitely one of a kind.
Yeah. I mean,
they can't be replaced. I mean, how do you replace a
232-inch mule deer in velvet? You can't.
Yeah, cactus buck?
Yeah. Not happening.
So that's some really good news. I'm going to try to visit with him on Tuesday or Friday, whichever it is. My best guess is the Trump thing is going to be mayhem and chaos, which happens to be prime directive in my life.
Always.
What would it be without it?
Oh, no.
Boring.
Yeah. We're living life on the envelope edge.
Yeah. All right. That said, when we come back, we'll get a hold of our tackle master over at H&M Landing. And I'm sharing the microphone today with
Jim Allen.
And
Special K.
God love you.
I approve of this message.
I'm Don McDowell, and I endorse that song.
Yeah, I know you do.
All righty, we're going to change gears and go to the left coast with our buddy over at H&M Landing, the tackle master himself. Rick, what's happening, buddy?
Well, still really good fishing for this time of year. Good tuna fishing. The yellowtail are biting. Constitution came in just a little while ago. They had 12 bluefin from 50 to 75 pounds.
Oh!
About 20 of those real nice grade yellowtail from 18 to 23. We had the day boats, First Ring, Old Glory, all those guys are getting a good whack on one-day trips on those yellowfin tuna.
Wow.
First Ring had over 100. The other boats were picking 30s, 40s, things like that. Malahini the other day had good yellowtail fishing, and the Premier did too. Kind of slacked off yesterday a little bit, but boats like the Legend are still killing the yellowtail, and the Ocean Odyssey. They both got over 100 a day for their trips.
Yeah, I'm looking at some pretty good numbers coming off of the Blue Horizon. Any idea which way they headed?
Blue Horizon headed north yesterday.
Yeah, they had a pretty good day for them.
Yeah, they did.
Absolutely.
There's some nice whack of fish up there.
Yep, good stuff. Good stuff. A lot of folks over there fishing still.
You know what? It's a lot more than normally for this type of year. It's surprising. During the week, we're still getting quite a few boats out, and people are catching fish. So good time to go.
Rumor has it the Arizona State University football team went on a fishing trip last night instead of going to play the football game because they got their butts handed to them badly by USC.
Nice.
Well, you know what? USC's got to win one once in a while.
That's true.
They've been having a tough season so far.
Yeah.
And who knows what those California boys put in the water for those guys too?
Not going to go there.
Very, very, very good. Other than that, what's going on? Anything worth noting other than really good fish reports?
Other than really good fishing, lobster season started yesterday. I haven't got a report on how they did, but I know they had a charter yesterday. Didn't hear from the guys. They're probably still sleeping. And we'll get some information on that as soon as we can. But it's definitely bug time. We have trips running on those every day.
Yeah, boy. Well, if you don't have a deer tag or an elk tag, H&M Landing.
Hey, you know what? If you get a deer and an elk tag, you want to put a little lobster along with that venison, come on down and pick up a few.
Ooh.
You missed it. He missed the early portion of the show. We could have had surf and turf because I ate horse meat this morning.
Yeah. Yeah, pony pate. Figure it out, Rick.
Are you French?
No, it was Fiederfleisch. It was from Germany.
Oh.
No, we figured out we have, we're looking at the birther issue here at Shake, Rattle, and Troll. We have a Saxon and we have a Hungarian gypsy so. You gotta love it.
That's it. Diversification. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
It is. All right, we're going to wish you a good day. Thanks for playing along with us, man. God love you. Yep, one of the best guys over at H&M. I just love that guy. What an expert he is.
Yeah, he knows his stuff.
All right, anything else worth mentioning since we've pretty much gotten sideways today with everybody?
Oh, I think that this week, when this is a call out to anybody who wants to be mentoring this coming weekend. We're going to be having the deer camp. Thursday night, we're going to set up camp. Or actually, Wednesday is setting up. So Thursday, reception for everybody coming in. Have your kids register. You can register online, or you can call the Bruns family, but the azdeer.org, www.azdeer.org.
I think you should give Renee's mobile number out.
I don't think she'd like that if I did that.
Well, yeah, it's okay if you call her after 10 o'clock at night.
After 10, she's going to kill me then. Along with the Hells Angels who are riding to protect the Salt River Horse Recreation Area. Yeah.
We'll have shotguns down here next week.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it's a good thing I'm going to be out of town. But, yeah, we're going to have a great hunt. We want everybody to be safe. Game and Fish is going to be there. We're anticipating probably in excess of 40 different hunters out of that unit, which is a stunning amount. Plus, who knows who's going to stop by and say hi? You never know. But we're going to have all kinds of things, and I will be busy first thing Friday morning trying to help your grandson, Mason, harvest a cow.
Yep. We'll
that ought to be a hoot.
Be a family affair.
I agree.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to having you be there. You, me, and Donnie Packouts.
Yep. My daughter's coming up with TJ Friday night.
Shannon.
Yeah. Shannon's coming up.
Oh, good.
Yep.
I can harass her and TJ at the same time. I'm offering them rides in the Prius.
Well, TJ's gunning for you about the Prius. So.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah, I think he's been poking you pretty hard.
Yeah.
Mason didn't Mason poke you a little bit?
Mason attempted it, and then there was a retraction and a deep, sincere apology.
Really?
Yeah, there was. So it had something to do with me sending a text to your son that said, gee, sorry I can't be there for the weekend because I'm attending an automotive council on the mental stability of Prius owners who are harassed by teenage boys.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. An apology came quickly.
As we've been talking, I've been going through the internet trying to find what the acreage restriction on the Sedona
proposed the monument there?
Yeah, Sedona Valley Red Rock National Monument, and that seems to be classified information. Maybe we should email Hillary.
Sure.
Find out what it is.
All we have to do is get on her email address, and we're fine then. We'll know.
Yeah, I'll put in a call to Putin. He'll know. All right. Anything for you on Western Outdoor Times, Arizona Boating and Water Sports?
Well, we have a lot of activities going on in Havasu coming up this month, but JK's got a really good article in there, and I wish he'd talk a little bit about that.
I thought you were going to say had a pretty twisted sense of reality.
Well, no, we do have a picture in there of a Prius he's driven for a while. It's kind of twisted, but based on everything,
the white one all bent up.
Yeah, that one suffered a tragic ending, didn't it?
But based on what we've been going over this morning, you got a really good article. If you wouldn't mind telling us about that.
I dated back to when I thought the world changed, and I'll call it the
1995.
1995. It was the tipping point. It was perfect storm. In 1994, Kieran Suckling, who is the de facto face of the Center for Biological Diversity,
isn't he a shoplifter as well?
That's it. He was arrested for shoplifting, for stealing boots and slippers. And if it had happened
slippers.
Interesting combination.
You don't shoplift slippers.
Well, it goes to his feminine side. He's obviously a shoeaholic, right? Okay, we're going to let it go at that.
I've never met the man, but he does look rather feminine.
Well, he was arrested, and he had to serve, I think he paid a fine, was basically what it was, pled guilty, and he paid a fine. It was in the New Times. And at that point in time, if you had done that now, in today's society, 20 years now, future, he would have been raked across the coals, and he would have been shamed out of ever doing anything with the center.
He's a left-wing liberal
demagogue,
wingnut. All he would have had to do was just ignore it like Clinton does, and nobody would have said squat.
No, because of the way the society is today, if you do a misstep, you're caught on film, you're dead meat. But 20 years ago, we didn't have it, and so it didn't happen.
That depends on what office you hold.
Yeah, I mean, how can you sit here and say that when we have the Clinton cartel getting away with murder, literally?
I'm going to let that go. At any rate, the article goes to the point of how we had, the potential fallout of Kieran Suckling, and it was the birthing of the Center for Biological Diversity. Nobody pursued him. Everybody let it go. At the exact same time, there were machines that were being invented and starting to be utilized called off-highway vehicles, which we had not had before, quads.
I had one. They were three-wheelers when they first came out.
Yeah, but I mean, that was the point in time where all of a sudden everybody started using them, and it took away... It balanced the playing field in one sense that everybody could go to the same places and beyond where they ever used to go, and people started taking them all through the woods rather than having to hike in from a road. It did an incredible disservice to those people who really worked out hard and won about hunting the old way, and it balanced the playing field. And then all of a sudden, thousands and thousands of miles of roads appeared, and I called that perfect storm tipping point where the world changed as we knew it. And the federal government, in all their infinite lack of wisdom, had no plan, no foresight, and no knowledge on how to deal with these things. And consequently, what you're seeing now is a reaction to 20 years of abuse of public lands by a lot of people who utilize those machines. I'm not saying everybody by any stretch of the imagination, but 5% of the people, if they're bad apples, they have created thousands of miles of roads that weren't there before, and we're paying the price for it through this exclusionary process.
I hate to admit it, but I saw me do that.
Yeah.
I did. We'll be right back.
Oh, mellow music.
Pistol shots ring out in a barroom night.
All righty, we're back. We're still looking for the master rod builder, apparently. So I did find the Sedona Verde Valley Red Rock National Monument acreage. It is an additional 160,000 acres, right smack dab in the middle of the state.
Gee, I wonder why. And it's that's a paltry piece of land. 150,000 acres only?
Yeah.
Why waste their time? I like that 1.9 and 1.7. I mean, a million here, a million there. Sooner or later, you're starting to talk some serious land.
On, trying to prohibit recreational shooting on the Sonoran.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. We have communication with downtown Payson. James, do you have a copy? Over.
I got a copy, Don. How you doing?
Roger that. Hey, we're having way too much fun today. I'm hoping it's at JK's expense or KJ's expense or what.
Yeah, I think there may be some
fallout
from the early portion of the show today when we were consuming Fiederfleisch.
I noticed Mr. Allen's being quiet here.
Yeah, he had to be.
You know, if you've got...
you have any idea what's going to happen to you if Carol gets a hold of this?
She's listening to it.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, Carol.
Yeah, if you can think of anybody we haven't irritated, go ahead and mention them, because I don't think we've left anybody out today.
We haven't talked about...
Don't.
What?
I know where you're going. Don't do it, please. Just James, how is the weather up north?
Hey, the weather up here is good, but let me start off by saying, Mr. McDowell, congratulations on the Arizona Game and Fish Advocate of the Year.
Federal Advocate of the Year.
Can't think of a better selection, and, when I see things like that, I think, you guys are on the right track. The things you talk about are the things that sportsmen care about, and so congratulations.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate the kind words.
We can say we knew him way back when, once that starship takes off with Donnie McDowell at the helm.
No, I'm just trying.
James and I'll be sitting in the bar up at the Pete's place up north and just saying, yeah, we knew him when.
Hey, join me. Get on the Trump train. Let's go.
And JK, I'm not going to let you off the hook either.
Ooh.
I didn't do anything.
A lot of us online here that are listening on the computer, we picked up on your little line that those wolves died of lead poison. That didn't go by, brother.
Sorry about that.
Well, James, Game and Fish is talking about some type of birth control for the burro population, and I tried to point out to Director Voiles and Jim DeVos that Winchester happens to have a perfect delivery system for that birth control.
I wanted to see if they're going to start passing out condoms to stallions.
Ooh.
Too good.
Boy, that'd be a handful, wouldn't it?
Literally.
Oh, okay. All right, bail me out, James. What are we doing?
Yep. Hey, fishing conditions on Roosevelt Lake and Apache. I got a dual report this week. Good to very good. These large schools of bait that we've been talking about are the predominant pattern that everybody's fishing. We've been talking about crankbaits and jerkbaits, but this week we're going to add a spoon to that. And,
yeah.
And I got a good one for you. I was talking to a friend of ours this week, and I want everyone to go online to trendsetterjigs.com. because they put these new spoons in a 3/4 and 1 ounce size, which are just perfect for the bass. So get over to trendsetterjigs.com and check that out. Those are the real deal. You'll see one that's kind of looks like a gizzard shad coloring that's kind of a dark and black gray on a silver. Oh, my God. Get it.
That should be the SRT color.
Yeah, I know that that's one of your favorites in there. But just to tell you how good these things are working, I talked to guys that are catching like up to 12 consecutive casts.
Wow.
Just throwing a spoon out there and letting it flutter down and catching fish. So
so far, they're catching largemouth, bass, they're catching yellowtail, they're catching yellowfin, they're catching bonita, they're catching bluefin. Did I mention yellowtail? I did. Okay.
It's a great time to be fishing. Absolutely. Fall, this time of year is just perfect times. And you know, if you're out there and you're frustrated, you're not catching fish, or you're not seeing schools of it, remember that adage: you're fishing in the fall like you fish in the spring. So those same things that you did in the spring will work now.
By the way, did anybody watch Shark Tank this week?
No.
They had a 17-year-old boy and his father who have developed something called the fish attractor.
Oh, okay.
You saw that.
Okay.
I sent you that video.
That link didn't load.
Didn't load?
But I know what you're talking about. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
it emits sounds like schooling and patterning. It's amazing. And my question to both of you is that when you throw something out into the water and then you cast around it because it's making sounds that sound like a school of shad.
That is actually old technology.
Is it? Is it illegal?
No, it's not. But it's not as foolproof as one might think it is.
I thought you were talking about a female fish in a short skirt.
No. Yeah, there you go.
Here we go.
You talking about the hydro waves, Don?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been around for a while. There's a lot of, you could even change the sounds.
Yeah, they had 3 different sounds. It's in a bulb kind of thing that floats and emits the sounds, and it supposedly attracts fish.
These attached to your trolling motor, and you know, I've talked to several, you know, professional anglers, elite anglers that use those systems, and they say given certain conditions, they can really make a difference.
Right.
But, I don't hear anybody saying I wouldn't go fishing without it or anything like that.
Gotcha. Okay. Just had to know.
Yeah. To answer your question, I don't really have a problem with it.
Would it be used in a bass tournament legally?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now hold on. Universally, I don't know that. It's going to be tournament specific.
Okay.
So. Well, for the FLW and the Bassmasters, they are legal.
Yep.
There might be others where they don't.
Thank you.
Yeah, good thing. Hey, the lake level down at Roosevelt, just breaking news this morning, went down another %, so it's at 36% full. The good news is both the Salt and the Tonneau are flowing much better due to the recent storm that went by. Salt's at about 125%, and the Tonneau was like at 50% or something like that. So at least some water's going in. We ought to be getting to the time of year where they stop taking water out. So I'm hoping that this is about the bottom for us.
Yeah, we're real close to it right now.
Yeah, we've been saying that since it's been 39% full. But going back, you know, I look back, you know, last year and the year before, this is about the range. You know, somewhere around 34 to 36 is the low typically for Roosevelt. So hopefully we'll stay right in that range and won't lose much more water there, because when you go down there, you look, especially on the Tonneau end, where it's real shallow grade going into the lake. Boy, you'll be surprised next time you go up there to see how far the water is from like Indian Point Ramp or something. So,
well,
one more thing. I know you've been talking about this, but I want to give some kudos to a new website. It's fishaz.org. Lots of good fishing reports and fishing information on that website. So if your anglers haven't gotten over to look at that thing, go take a look at it. And you can get pretty much reports from all over the state on fishing, and it's just a well-done website.
Interesting. Okay. What's the word on Dennis and his elk and deer pursuit?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're out there. This is a time that lots of hunting going on up here, lots of guys that are out there. There's some really good-sized bulls that are being taken. Heard reports of just large bulls that are being there. I haven't seen any pictures of it. I know Clifford's got a house full of guests out there. Dennis, I think, is helping do some of the work with Clifford. but exciting time. You guys know that I have these trail cameras out in the backyard. There's a beautiful 6x bull that's coming in here every night. But recently he got in a fight with something because now he's got a...
He's a 5x now, or a 4x, or a 3x.
Yeah, he's like a 5x now, or
yeah.
5 on one side, 6 on the other. He lost a big tine here within the last week.
Oops.
But,
go to war for women. That's what happens to you.
There's two things on the planet that starts war: sex and money. It's one or the other. Sometimes it's both.
Both, yeah.
I'm just saying.
With bull elk, I swear they lose their minds.
I'm kind of hung up on that birth control program for the donkeys. Are those made by Goodyear or Goodrich?
Oh, I'm not touching that one.
All right, James, God love you, man. Good report.
Thanks, Don.
All right, have a good week. We'll be right back. All righty, we're back. Before I get off this soapbox, I want to direct you to ArizonaLiberty.us. There is a call to action page on that. It's pretty interesting. You can see the list of the schedules on that, and there is a list of all of the legislators. Sylvia Allen, Steve Pierce, Brenda Barton, more good news. Bob Thorpe, Noel Campbell, Karen Fan from District 1. Also, McCain, Flake, Gosar, and Ann Kirkpatrick, in case you wanted to visit with Ann personally.
Leave your notes.
Yeah, 202-225-3361. You can have that phone number, blow that up. All of their email addresses. But I'll definitely put a call out. Contact these guys. Tell them no on the Grand Canyon Monument, no on Sedona, no on Sonoran, and no on anything else you can think of. So I'm done. That's it.
You did well.
I'm going to IHOP.
You did well. I'm impressed. I've already had my breakfast today.
Yes.
Oh, you did that?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Josh is thinking Michelin. Yeah. I mean, that's for the high milers, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
High milers with a heavy load.
Don't even touch that, please.
What?
Please. We know what you're talking about.
Got them on my truck.
Okay. Yeah, well, I got them on my Prius, too.
Okay. All right. You want to go ahead and close this out?
Well, I
feel like the only one I haven't offended is Black Lives Matter. Okay.
Then leave it like that.
Go for it.
Okay.
Don, do those come with water tread?
Excuse me?
Do those come with water tread as well?
Yeah. Off-highway use. Yep.
Yeah.
Out in the woods.
No,
it's gone downhill today, big time.
Yeah, it started off okay. I really appreciate you allowing us to have the Republic come in and film the segment on us consuming horse meat. I have been curious for a long time. I'm sure we've all eaten it at one point or another. As you pointed out, there are places that served it. We just never knew it.
I don't have a problem with it. What I have a problem with is the ideology pushing things that ought not be pushed and diverting from common sense, diverting from
when you have
federal failure, the budgets. I mean, you start looking at the money, it's just like, good grief.
Yeah. $80 million for a single program. And when you start to get to the point where a single species is respected, adhered, adored, loved, and treated better than any other species, you are on the road to hell in a handbag, and it's coming quick.
Well, and if you get down to the money, that's where it all is anyway.
It's just taxpayer money, Jim.
Well, I understand that, and they print more, so why worry about it?
Right.
If they run out, they just print more of it. But if you get down to the money on all of these programs, or look at what it's going to cost. We can't afford to take care of our own. We can't afford to have a decent education for our kids. So you just go back to the money and look at all of these things and say, okay, well, we can't afford that one right now. Maybe a good idea, but we can't afford it.
Do you know what we could do for the school lunch program for inner city kids with all those extra horses?
$6 trillion that we spent in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Donald Trump summing this thing up.
We could fix our highways.
Well,
the infrastructure.
I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah, but with Hillary, the other day, he said, follow the money. Look at the money trail.
Oh, it's always that way.
The Clinton cartel.
Well, I recommend, as a final parting comment, I recommend sun-dried tomato and basil crackers with provolone cheese with your horse meat. So anytime you're consuming them, it's a great combination. It's a little heavy for breakfast, but I think it's a great afternoon lunch, or even for a picnic for you and your special lady.
What are we doing on the food end of it next week, Don?
Muskrat love.
I think Josh and I just need to let you guys roll. We'll go to IHOP. Can you put this on autopilot for like about an hour?
Yeah. Well, we got 4 or 5 minutes left. It's okay. We're not doing badly. But it was an interesting show. I am certainly appreciative of you allowing them the opportunity to come in and, film what we were doing. I think it's important for people to understand that there is a process where animals have to die in order for us to eat. And then unless you're a total vegan, and we're finding out that has some serious repercussions, these are high-protein-based food sources that we cannot ignore.
Well, vegetables have feelings, too.
I know. You're going to get there like artichoke screaming, artichoke choking. Yeah, I know. It's not cool.
Yep, that's just one more excuse not to eat my vegetables at night. How do you think those peas felt?
I could say something, but I'm not going to do that.
No.
Yeah.
Does he do that on purpose?
Yes, he does. He throws softballs out there and expects me to hit the home run, and I'm going, yeah, I touched that, and I'm a dead man anyhow. You going to protect my home, by the way, after that film comes out?
I'm sitting here thinking about it. I need to get Cat Thor down here in the next couple of weeks from Dark Horse.
I need training.
Security along with Master Sergeant Dempsey and all this, Jesse Johnson and SEAL Team 5.
That would be nice to have as protection after that film comes out, because you're on it with me, and you were eating the same horse meat I was eating.
It was wonderful.
It was. It does taste a little like meatloaf the way they have it packaged, but I'm sure it's because it's been, packaged the way it has.
It doesn't taste any, it's got a great flavor.
Yeah. And other than too much salt that they put in for preservatives based on it, but other than that, it was good. I would love to taste a good, clean steak. Yep. A prime steak off of horse. I'd love to have it.
I am a meat eater.
Well, Japan serves it as sushi.
Oh, yeah. What was it, $55 a pound over there?
Yeah. I mean, it's outrageous.
Boy, and that, you said that can was $15?
$15 for this can. And it's not much bigger than your small tuna can.
Now, was there a custom tax on that? Or was that smuggled in by somebody who shall remain nameless?
The nameless one smuggled this in. The nameless one did. And I am so appreciative of him doing that. And it had an expiration date on it, too. The expiration date is 10/11/16. So we were mere months away.
Just in the nick of time.
In the nick of time. We ate it with a week to go.
What, did that come from France?
No, Germany.
Germany, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
okay.
Germany. Das Deutsch. With the name like Fiederfleisch, what do you think? Fleischer Zugenus aus Fiederfleisch?
I speak Saxon. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so do I. I speak Hungarian, and that's not Hungarian either.
Okay. That's all good. When's your next e-news coming out?
That's glad you asked that. We have been doing for years the weekly email newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
Changed that as of yesterday. We will be doing very short little daily update.
Okay.
Oh, constant presence.
Well, yeah, I'm sure everybody's like we are. I don't know how many emails you guys get. I get tons and tons of them, and whether I'd like to read all of that, I just plain don't have time.
No.
In our weekly email newsletter, of course, I can track and see, what the results are on that. But it was long, and even if I had the time, I wouldn't, necessarily
And how does one sign up for the newsletter?
azbw.com. Just go there and sign up for it. But we're just doing a real short, whatever's current and whatever's going on, we'll do one little blurb a day, and it'll be real short.
And if you're interested, you can go to the Shake, Rattle, and Troll, Shake, Rattle, and ANDtroll.com. Sign up for our newsletter. Doug does a good job putting some stuff out there, and on a regular basis. We'll keep you dialed in on, some of the political issues we're fighting here. And
go forward with that. And for the next article that I'm going to be putting out is going to be about the success of the McDowell family on elk and deer hunts.
Oh, nice.
In the great up north.
Cool.
Yep. With That's pictures.
Good. Okay. Want to give out the directions to get to the ADA Combined Elk and Deer Youth Camp?
Oh, absolutely. Head up the Beeline to middle of Payson at the McDonald's. Turn right on the 260. Take that all the way up through Christopher Creek. You pass the Woods Canyon Lake entrance, and on the right-hand side, about 4 miles down the road, there's the scenic road to Young. Turn right because it's the only way you can. You're going south on that road to Young. Where the pavement stops, that's where we'll be. It's 5 miles down the road.
Just drove by there on Monday.
There's a highly recommended book by the same name, Where the Pavement Ends.
Where the Pavement Ends.
All right, guys. Hey, I appreciate everybody listening. Visit Trump up in Prescott Valley on Tuesday. Vote your conscience. I'm Don McDowell.
Special K.
Tim Allen.
All righty. Bet your horse, man. We're out of here.
It's me and the boys gonna shake